Everybody, it's Kenny from MagChop, and welcome to Chapter 11, chopping it up right here. And I'm glad you're here with me. So, today's episode is brought to you by my homeboy Sunglasses, Mr. Miami Moonrays, Moonier Ingram. So, look up Miami Moonrays, check them out online, and brought to you by the Facing the Paradox mug. Woo, go to magchop.com. You know you want this mug. This is probably one of the hottest mugs around. I'm gonna say it's one of the hottest in the collection. So, go to magchop.com, get yourself Facing the Paradox mug. Alright, so I had a topic conversation on Facebook where several people chimed in and said that there's some topics they wanted me to talk about. So we're going to be getting to some of those topics. One of them was the MagChop origin, which I definitely will be getting into that. There's a lot of tidbits throughout the thing about it, but I will put together one video that's going to cover all of that. So without further ado, let's get into what we did decide on today. Thanks to my lovely daughter Cecilia Ruiz, who picked out my topics. So, topic number one will be submitted from Vixie Bell, which is my girl Vivian Orozco from Umaya Films. The common mistakes art entrepreneurs make. Now, it was really funny because my response to her was, that I'm scared to tackle this topic because I think I still make some of them. It's a really good question. So, my answer is, number one, the first thing that I would like to focus on is they expect, the famous artists, they expect that type of fame and fortune, but they expect it without the process. I feel like that's the number one mistake that artists make, is you think you're going to be, Guy Harvey on your first day out. It's not going to happen. You have to build your respect of your audience. You have to build your market, build who you're selling to, your clients. You have to build that. And then once you build that and it gains popularity, that's how they get to that level. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. A lot of artists come out and they just come out and they say, okay, you know what, I've created some art, I'm going to come out and I'm going to make a piece and I'm going to sell it for $5,000. It's not going to work that way. You have to build up to that. You have to build your rapport up to that. I'm going to give you three. So the second mistake that I would suggest that I think artists make, and these are based on my mistakes, so I'm assuming from what I've seen and what I did from the beginning that this is a typical pattern, so I'm hoping that this does help you out. You fail to build relationships. You got to really understand. Now, this part I didn't struggle into because most of what I do is build relationships. But a lot of artists fail to build relationships with the people that they want to sell their art to, or that they're hoping to buy their art, and the places that they want to put their art. One of the most important things in business, and this part goes for all entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in the art, entertainment, business, whether you're in multi-level marketing, whatever the case may be, the only way to real success is through the relationships that you build. Keep that in mind. Treat people with respect. Do honest business. Do your business with integrity. And as long as you do that, you will find success. Trust the process. You'll find success. Okay? And the third thing that I see a lot of artists failing is their lack of creativity. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Did he just say artists are having lack of creativity? Listen, not in their art, in their presentation of their art. Who are they showing their art to? How are they going? How are they presenting it? Where they're presenting it? The lack of innovation, being scared to take your art and put it on products and find out what's going to work, what people like. Go the extra mile. You have to figure out other ways. So get creative with your brand. Your art is your brand. So get creative with it. So the second question that was on there was my boy Bo asked, how do I come up with my designs? Well, that's interesting. So the answer to that really is I dive into the subject matter of the piece. So when I did the piece Real Passion, right? I'm wearing it. So I'm wearing Real Passion. So when I did Real Passion, I went to people that fish. I went to fishermen. I went to the pier. I went to the marinas. I spoke to people. I just asked them about their culture, about the boats, about what I'm looking at. What is that? What do you got there? What does that do? I really learned the culture. I learned what they like, what they don't like. One of the specific things that I was told was to not mix freshwater fish in a saltwater piece. Do not mistake mistakenly put freshwater products either, freshwater or anything, in a saltwater piece and vice versa. So that was very important to me to make sure that when I was looking at the pieces that I was putting out to put together this piece, that I got that right. You know, so that's really what I do. Once I learn about the culture or whatever it is that the subject matter is for the piece, I associate it with experiences that I've had in my life that I can say, wow, you know, it's just like this. And I use the example and take what I learned from them to be able to put the piece together to tell the story that I kind of want to tell. So it's really, you know, based on that. And then, you know, it's like I get the image in my mind. Like I got it right away, like, bam, there it is, right? And then I have to get it out. So I have to search and find the images that match. Sometimes I draw them in, sometimes I piece them in. But this is how the pieces really come together. So that's pretty cool. So my third and most exciting topic, which I'm sure everybody read the title and was probably like, okay, when is he going to talk about it, is the theory that I have personally for Avengers Endgame. I'm very excited about that. As many of you know or don't know, I have collected comics my whole life. I stopped probably about 6 years ago maybe. And every now and then I'll still go pick one up. But I mean, I have been collecting classic comics since I was a child, and I still have my collection, most of it. A few boxes I had sold off, but throughout the years I've been able to slowly retain some of those and get them back. Anyway, being that I am a comic collector, I read my comics, and I read the Infinity Gauntlet. And based on everything that's been going on from the MCU versus the comic book, there's a lot of things that don't jive with the comic book, and they're intentionally doing that. So it's been real tough to tell what's going on. Like in the comic books, we know that, you know, like before Hulk went to Planet Hulk, I think when he got there or something, he lost his arm and he had a mechanical arm put on. But that never happened in the movies. So you know, he was wearing the thing like that he wore, you know, the bottom armor showing one arm being covered, but that armor was really because he lost his arm. So, you know, I know that in the Infinity Gauntlet, you have Wolverine in the Infinity Gauntlet. He plays a pivotal role throughout the series anyway. But I know that if I remember right, and listen, if any of you guys are comic nerds and I'm getting this wrong, let me know. Like, comment down and say, hey, you got that wrong. But I remember he was turned to rubber. His bones or something were turned to rubber. In the comic books, both Captain America and Tony Stark at one point die. I have the comics, which is really cool. Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet ends up teaming up with the Avenger because Nebula gets the gauntlet. I know that Captain Warlock played a big role in all of that, and I know that there was like other gods, if I remember right, there was other gods that came together to try to kill Thanos, and I mean, it was a pretty big battle, but he ultimately won, and then he absorbed himself into the galaxy or whatever, and I think that's how Nebula got the gauntlet, which like he just became part of the galaxy. So, now, with all that we know, here's what I think. I think that in Endgame, I don't think Spider-Man's going to play a big role. I think that he'll come back at some point, probably towards the end of the movie. I don't think he's, like when they reverse the snap. I believe they're going to reverse the snap, but we'll get to that. I believe Professor Hulk is going to be introduced. I think that merge between Bruce Banner and Hulk is going to finally come through. And I honestly think that at some point in the Infinity Gauntlet, Hulk is going to lose his arm. I think they're going to I think that's going to play. I believe that Hugh Jackman's character of Wolverine is going to be in the movie. I just have that weird feeling, but I hope, maybe it's just hope. It might just be my hope, because, you know, he does play a good Wolverine. Age and everything would be perfect for that. So I really don't think that. I think they're going to introduce Galactus. He's the guy with the purple horns and everything like that. I really think they're going to introduce him. And all of that's going to play a role in the whole theme of things. They are going to reverse the snap, and it's either going to be Romanoff, Nebula, or Captain Marvel that's going to do it. I believe a female character is going to be the one to put on the glove and reverse the snap. In the comic book, if I remember right, Nebula reverses the snap by saying something like, everything will be how it was yesterday or 24 hours ago, or something to that effect, and then snaps it back. So I believe that's what's going to happen. They're going to end up reversing the snap at some point somehow, and it's going to be one of the female characters. If one of the male characters does it, I think it's going to be Iron Man. In the comic book, I don't know if I said that, but he does team up with the Avengers at some point. I don't know if they're going to pull that card in this one. I don't think they're going to do that in this one. I don't think Thanos will team up with the Avengers like in the comic book. So there you have it. That's chapter 11. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, keep in touch, and don't forget to comment.